Hello everyone, JonnyVR here, and this is the first of a series that I'm going to do, talking about each episode of Doctor Who Series 12, because as loads of you will know, that I'm a huge Doctor Who fan. So I thought I would do a little bit of a spoiler-free review immediately after each episode. I've just finished watching the first episode. It's called Spyfall Part 1. And what I wanted from this episode was for it to be vastly different from Series 11. Because I found that although it was a good introduction to Jodie Whittaker as a Doctor, it was very. It had its faults. Like, for example, because it was a series of only single episodes, you never really had the chance to appreciate a longer story arc. And lots of people would have known before this episode that it was going to be a two-part episode, which is something that hasn't been done before with Jodie Whittaker's Doctor. So it's interesting to see how the writer deals with it, and also the actors and the characters. So how does Chris Chibnall deal with his first two-parter of his showrunner era? Well, I think he does it very well. Considering a lot of the criticism that the last series had, it feels so different than the last series. And you know what? It's what I found with some of the standalone episodes of Series 11 was that it had all the build up, but it wasn't able to finish the episodes sort of in a way that it did justice. Like, it felt like it had all the episodes built up from the beginning, and it just sort of happened in the last maybe 5 minutes, and it kind of left me a bit confused at times. So with a full episode to build up what's going to be the next episode, and maybe the continuation of either this story or the rest of the season story arc, the build up was fantastic, and the characters as well. Each one looks like they've grown in the role, like they've got used to it. They've been playing them a while now. We get to see a lot from Yaz, Graham, and Ryan, all doing what they would normally do. We see it in their lives, and all of each one of them is used in a good way in this episode. And also the guests, like the special guests, Stephen Fry, Lenny Henry, both of them, wow. Like, I was very impressed with both of them in the episode. I was impressed with Stephen Fry in like the 1 minute clip they released prior to the episode. But both of them, like, fantastic. And not only that, but their motives and their reactions to what's going on is like totally believable. Like, I didn't even have to stretch my imagination. Everything was happening sort of as I'd expect. We do get some aliens. We do get some good aliens. But the fact that you have the time to build up an episode and conclude part of the story, in the next episode or the rest of the season, meant that, we have questions now. There's so many questions after the end of that episode that I have, that'll keep my head spinning until the next episode releases on Sunday. Something that we didn't really have in season 11, because we just had these standalone stories. There was no story arc or no continuation of a story. It was just sort of, we watched an episode one at a time and that was it. But now we have like so much happened in that episode. We have so many questions now, and that's not even the biggest part. The special effects were great, and I expected it to be looking stunning, because at the most recent episode prior to this one was Resolution, and I did think the effects in that were pretty good for Doctor Who, and it carries on. Doctor Who I don't think has ever looked better than it has now. The ending though, wow. Like, if you wanted a cliffhanger, Chris Chibnall gives you a cliffhanger, and I was not expecting that at all. Like, the only way to I can't even put it into words, but you just got to watch it to believe it. And I can honestly say, for the first time in a while for Doctor Who, that I am surprised, I'm shocked, I don't know what to think, I don't know how to process what I've just seen. And yet it was all throughout enjoyable. It's totally mad. Like, I thought as soon as they announced the episode title as Spyfall, I really thought that it was going to be a cheesy episode, something that's obviously a reference to James Bond. I thought, it's just going to be a romp for an hour or 2 hours, 2 episodes where they just sort of do James Bond. But although they do make references, it's very withheld. They don't overdo it, which is good. They don't make it as cheesy as the title sounds. And when it does make the references, it sort of feels like, right, there we go, we've done it, and now we can move on to the rest of the story. And it's wow. I thought prior to this episode, Chris Chibnall had said that it was possibly one of the biggest episodes of Doctor Who ever, if not the biggest episode ever. Now, is it true? Well, no matter what, it definitely tries to be, and that's like, it's ambitious, and the scale of it is huge. The scale is huge, and you get to visit a lot of places, a lot of things happen, there's a lot of very tense moments, and there's a lot of emotional moments. A lot happens in the episode, but, is it the biggest episode ever? When you got episodes like The Day of the Doctor and I think Journey's End, is also, those are the biggest episodes I think Doctor Who's ever had. It's big episode. It's a really big episode. Is it the biggest ever? I can't agree with that, but it really does try. And the ending is just totally shocking and mind-blowing. Like, if you wanted a cliffhanger in a series of Doctor Who of this series, I think you'll be very happy with it. I was incredibly happy with it, and the only way I can see it is go and see it for yourself. And I'm going to be thinking about this for the next few days, wondering what's going to happen. I'll be excited for the next episode, for the first time in a long while, and I'll be like staying awake all night, thinking about what happened. The music was good as well. I think the music was an improvement over the last series. Get a lot more feel for all the seasons, a lot more optimistic music and less of the sort of the drag that we had in series 11. But overall, I really enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the series, because the way they set it up makes it feel like it's not only going to be concluded in the next episode, but it could have ramifications for the rest of the series 12, and it'll be really interesting to see how Chris Chibnall deals with a series-long story, like a season-long arc. And I'm very excited to watch this and go along for the ride. So I'm giving this episode an 8.7 out of 10, because it raises up the bar. It gives you high stakes and shocks and tense moments, gives you everything you'd want from a season opener that will introduce a series-long story arc. 8.7 I think is fair. So that's my spoiler-free review. Thanks very much for watching. Make sure you click like and subscribe to Skybot, and also to our gaming channel where I play VR games, and one of those is the VR Doctor Who game, so make sure you check that out. And this is something I want to do continuously throughout this series, so if you're a big Doctor Who fan like me, definitely recommend this episode. Comment in 3 words what you thought of the series opener, Spyfall Part 1, and I'll see you next time. Bye!